This is the sermon for July 9th, 2023, and this is called Wisdom Teachers. And first I'm going to read from Isaiah 26, not the whole chapter, just selections from it. We have a strong, secure city of God. Throw wide the gates. People with their minds set on you, you keep completely whole. We are steady on our feet because we keep at it and don't quit. Those who lived high and mighty, God knocked off their high horses. All the exploited and outcast peoples build their lives on this reclaimed land. We're in no hurry, God. We're content to linger in the path signposted by you. Through the night, my soul longs for you. Deep from within me, my spirit reaches out to you. Sing. Your dew is the morning dew catching the first rays of sun. The earth bursting with life, giving birth. Go into seclusion for a while because God is sure. All right, so wisdom teachers, and I have a selection. The first one is Brian LeBaron. He's a colleague of mine, someone I look up to. He's retired and moved to Monroe, Wisconsin. He was a Freeport man for many years, and he served here in Davis and Rock City and somewhere else, and then he's also served in Polo and Lena. I think he was pastor in Lena for a while, so a lot of years of ministry. Anyway, he has adapted an article that was written by Richard Waltman, MD, a physician specializing in geriatric medicine. And so Brian has adapted this. So he says, "How am I doing since my daughter died? Thanks for asking, but..." And that's the name of the title, the article. And so Brian says, "My daughter, Mel LeBaron, died in May at the age of 40 from metastatic breast cancer, just as she was only days away from starting her dream job as a social worker at Riley's Children's Hospital in Indianapolis, Indiana." Brian says, "I'm struggling with her loss. I miss her deeply, and for the most part, I feel terrible. I'm not close to getting over it. Since her death, I have been repeatedly approached by many people, relatives, friends, acquaintances, and many caring people. With good intention and often some discomfort, they all ask me the same thing: how am I doing? I have tried multiple responses, still I don't have the right answer. There may have been many bad answers, many uneasy pauses. In fact, most people already know the answer. I am not doing well. They ask in the hope of making me feel better because they want to convey their concern, because that is what one asks. Still, I sense my response doesn't make them feel better because most seem ready to get away quickly. I see no benefit for me to say I'm not doing well, which makes them feel worse, nor do I think it helps them or me to say I'm doing well when I'm not. Working as a pastor and mental health counselor for 35 plus years, I asked the same question of family survivors many times, never feeling as good as I wanted to, never feeling fully good about my role. But I tried always, feeling that saying something was better than not. I made it my goal to contact every family member who survived the deceased loved one. I hope I helped. I wish I had helped more, done better. Yet, as I now become a more experienced, if not effective mourner, I am formulating a response to this challenging question and have learned more about more meaningfully interacting with these kinds of souls who only want to help me. So what do? First, I speak with anyone who wants to speak with me, in person, on the phone, by email. Some are unexpected people who care about Mel or me or her siblings or her parents. Great, I welcome them. Some contacts I anticipated are missing. So be it. Then I make good eye contact with, if in person, with personal touch if it seems right, good contact on the phone or email with some casual talk, I then answer the inevitable question this way. I thank them for contacting me, and to make sure the message gets through, thank them more than once, adding, "Thanks for asking, it means a lot to me." I then try to find something they had in common with Mel, like, "I know you were both big BTS fans," or "Didn't you like the Beatles like she did?" That will usually get a response, a positive response, and often a smile or laugh. Then I thank them again for asking and simply say, "I'm doing the best I can," and I wish them well. I think we both finish the conversation feeling a bit better, or at least I hope I help them feel better, even if I don't. One more thing. After such a meeting, I will soon cross paths with someone who has just lost a loved one. I see them sad and ill at ease. So I don't ask how they are doing. I don't try to cheer them up. I don't give them advice. I extend my condolences, extend my concern, and wish them well. That's it. I hope I have helped them, if only a little. The grief process will play out differently for everyone. Our job is not to resolve it or fix it. It is to gently move it along and provide support to the grieving. And to those of you who have dealt with loss, to those of you dealing with loss now, and to those who will at some point deal with loss, please know I am truly sorry about your pain. May we all provide each other a bit of kindness, strength, and peace for this sad journey. I love that description of what it's like to be grieving deeply and to be asked, "How are you doing?" It's just great. So if anyone wants a copy, I'll be glad to send that along. All right, the next wisdom teacher is Pema Chodron, and I like her a lot. She wrote a book called When Things Fall Apart. It was one of my first experiences with Zen teaching and with mindfulness practice, and I love her writing. So anyway, this is the first cartoon. In meditation, we discover our inherent restlessness. Sometimes we get up and leave. Sometimes we sit there, but our bodies wiggle and squirm and our minds go far away. This can be so uncomfortable that we feel it's impossible to stay. Yet this feeling can teach us not just about ourselves, but about what it is to be human. We really don't want to stay with the nakedness of our present experience. It goes against the grain to stay present. These are the times when only gentleness and a sense of humor can give us the strength to settle down. This is settling down to ourselves. So whenever we wander off, we gently encourage ourselves to stay and settle down. When are we experiencing restlessness, she asks? Stay. Are fear and loathing out of control? Stay. Aching knees and throbbing back? Stay. What's for lunch? Stay. These are all thoughts you have when you're sitting. I can't stand this another minute. Stay. That's Pema Chodron. So yeah, I thought the cartoon was really appropriate. All right, this next one is a teaching about meditation from Sam Harris. And I really like his writing and thinking and conversations. So here it is. Meditation is the practice of breaking one's identification with thought and allowing experience, whether pleasant or unpleasant, to simply be as it is. So meditation is not something you are doing, really. It is something you are ceasing to do. You are ceasing to be distracted by thought. Therefore, real meditation is not a form of inwardness. It's a form of openness. You are simply open to the world and granting it your full attention. Right now, pick up your head, brighten your gaze, and simply look at the world as if this were the first moment of creation, because it is. That brings tears to the back of my eyes, because that is the most amazing definition of meditation. It means staying with what is and becoming aware of what is and not getting lost in all the chattering of thinking. So every time your mind wanders off into thinking, you bring it back to what is. And my son taught me that see, hear, feel. Like I can feel my butt in the chair. I can feel the coolness of the arm rests on my arms. I can see, hear, feel. I can see that there's trees behind me, and I can focus on what are the individual leaves in the trees, and what do I see, and what do I hear? I hear birds, but I don't hear them unless I tune into it. Because if my mind is chattering with thinking, I don't hear, I don't see, I don't feel. Instead, I'm living in my mind. All right, so that's meditation. The next teaching is about desire. So I had a funny cartoon for that too. All right, desire. The next time you find yourself wanting something, this could be anything from dessert to something you are tempted to buy online. Before acting on the desire, simply notice it arise and gather energy. Feel it build in you as a state of your mind and body. Every desire appears to contain an imperative. It seems to demand action. Buy me now. Eat me now. Go do this. It's demanding an action. Desire does it. But rather than act, simply witness it as a physiological phenomenon. Let it build and then feel it dissipate. Watch the energy of desire expend itself without being fulfilled. And then watch it appear again with the next thought about the object of your desire. In this way, it's possible to realize that desire can disappear all on its own. In fact, desire can't help but disappear all on its own because nothing is permanent. So I just love that. That is so great. That's part of how I deal with the occasional hunger. I don't eat just because the desire builds and demands to be fed. I watch it. Do I need to eat? Is it something I need? Or am I like Humpty Dumpty and I see the dessert and I want one? I have a friend who sees a whole table laden with desserts. She sees it as sculpture rather than something to be eaten. Because she's like me. She doesn't eat any sugar anymore. So, all right. So the next teaching is about liking or disliking. Or another way of saying evening out is equanimity. That means being calm in the face of liking, disliking urges. So, one aspect of our experience that is ever present is the feeling of liking or not liking whatever arises. We find various tastes and sensations and emotions and thoughts pleasant or unpleasant. And we grasp at those we like and we attempt to push away those we don't like. Mindfulness requires this otherwise automatic response, like, dislike, and just to let our minds stay open and aware, whatever the character of our experience. And in this equanimity, we can find real freedom. So as you go about your day, notice this tendency to cling to or resist experience, and notice this reactivity as a kind of contraction in consciousness, getting smaller and tighter in consciousness. Then simply recognize that consciousness is prior to it and actually unimplicated in it. That's complicated. Mindfulness is simply the practice of leaving everything as it is. Again, equanimity is huge for the type 4 in the Enneagram because we tend to look at things in dramatic, black and white, stark, different ways. And instead, we can be calm about things. Now, this is something I work on all the time. All right, the last one, because I'm almost out of time. The last one is finding the time to sit still. So I have a cartoon or a thing for that as well. Oh, just a picture. I remember it's clock pieces and stuff. Finding the time to sit still. Most people say, I don't have time. I don't have time to sit still. Well, I've learned I can do it 10 to 20 minutes a day without a big problem. Okay, here it is. Many of us struggle to find the time to meditate. We think we'll be able to do it once we get various other things out of the way. I can sit after I get this, and this done. That's what we think. But there is really no end to the ordinary activities and obligations of life. There's always a reason to postpone practicing sitting still. So when the thought of practicing arises, seize it. Drop everything and do a short session of meditation. Even 2 minutes. Plenty for the moment. Yeah, and better yet, wake up right now. Whatever you're about to do, simply notice the nature of your mind, the intrinsic brightness and openness of consciousness, and the total insubstantiality of the next thought. Thoughts come and go, they disappear like mist in a wind. And so all we have to do is watch them come and go. So I hope you enjoyed these wisdom teachers. All of these pieces are very important to me in my life, and I wanted to share them with you. Amen.